an opportunity to share those things that are going on. I want to report on a successful summer for our family ministries. Our Adventure Week had 114 children and 32 youth. Warren Willis Camp had 12 youth, and they're actually there this weekend with another 20. So there's a lot of activity going on at camp. Between 2 mission trips, there were 30 students, and our Jello enrollment for this fall is at 85 children. So that's between 2 different days. That's about at capacity. There's really not room for any more children there. Our church lunch, which was postponed, it was a long-standing tradition of First United where Seabreeze students come and eat lunch on Tuesdays during their lunch break, was postponed, canceled. We had stopped that because of COVID, and now that has resumed as of last Tuesday. So that's pretty exciting stuff from family ministries. And we'll go to the building repairs and operations report. And this would be in the season of if you're a homeowner or you're a vehicle owner and everything seems to be kind of going wrong at your house or with your car. That's the church this summer. We have several AC units that have gone out. Our bus is in the shop currently. We discovered a leak where our main water line comes into the other building underneath the historic oak tree. So we had to reroute that water line over the summer. You may see a line that kind of comes up and over. We have several air conditioning units that have failed, all being replaced with capital funds that we have set aside. So we don't have to shut down the building or cancel things. It's just we have to take the time to pay for those and bid them out for repair. We're also going to be replacing a section of roof that is unrepairable. There's just too many leaks taking place there. Can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, One Big Sunday. So I'm going to be the first to announce One Big Sunday, which is November 5th. We're having one service at 10 a.m. It's going to be a blend of contemporary and traditional worship styles, a short message. But the reason I'm sharing it is because I know a lot are interested in what we're doing with a building project, and we're going to be sharing that information at that service. It will give you a timeline. We're going to show renderings of the project, and there's a chili cook-off. Scott's going to talk about a giving challenge. So we have a lot going on, and we wanted to bring everybody together for one service. Again, that's November 5th at 10 a.m. So let me introduce Mark Dunn. Mark is our treasurer, and he's going to share the financial report.
Good morning. Thanks, Brett. So a couple items we over this morning. Operational cash currently is at about $815,000. That represents about 8 months of expenses. Currently, year-to-date expenses are over revenue, about $53,538. That means we've spent more, obviously, than we brought in so far year-to-date. That's through August. Just over $768,000 in expenses, and our revenue so far this year is $712,678. That's about $53,000 expenses over revenue. As a comparison, in 2022 through the month of August, we had a surplus of revenue over expense of approximately $25,000. So quite significant difference this year versus last year. I did include in our slide nationwide. There's a survey recently that showed that 40% of participants in this survey said that current inflation will affect how they spend money during the holiday season. The reason I bring that up is, we don't know how that's going to impact giving for the last quarter of the year. So when people are pulling back on how they're spending money during the holidays, we might start to continue to see low spending or low giving in the church. We hope that's not the case, but it's an effect of inflation, obviously. Year-to-date giving revenue, like I said a moment ago, $712,678. Our year-to-date giving budget so far this year through August is $766,215. That represents a 7% below budget on what our actual revenue versus budget revenue. As a giving comparison for last year versus this year, again, $712,678 through August of this year. Last year, $753,829. That represents 5.5% lower this year than was compared to last year. Overall giving is down and expenses are up, and that obviously this is the effect of inflation has on our economy and all aspects of our economy. We did receive a one-time gift in the month of September, this month. We received a one-time gift that's not represented in these numbers. That gift was for $100,000. When congregational member gave $100,000, and that money was earmarked for operations, okay? A lot of times we'll get money that's gifted to the church and is for projects. This was for operations. So this is going to really change how we look for the last quarter of the year, obviously. $100,000 is an injection of money going into our operational budget, operational revenue. We can't obviously plan on those kind of big gifts. You know, it's nice to get it, and it certainly changes our financial situation in the church for operations for this year, but we can't plan on that kind of thing. We still got to depend on consistent giving. You know, we can't budget for a $100,000 injection into our funds. So, any questions? That's all I got, Julia. It's all yours. Go Gators.
Go Gators. Hi, good morning. I'm Julia Harris. I'm the chair of the guide team. Today I'm going to give us a quick report on just what the guide team is doing and how we're progressing with our goals. 6 years ago, guide team came up with this plan. And the plan was, in 10 years, we'll be a church that gives away more than we spend on ourselves, that will send out 10 people into ordained ministry. We'll have multiple venues in the community, have 26,000 hours each year of community service, 100 professions of faith each year, and that every person will share God's love in their sphere of influence. So these are kind of the overriding goals that guide team keeps in mind when we're making decisions for kind of how we do things at our church. Do the next slide. And so we came up with some metrics. I'm not going to go through all of these, but these are just ways that we can help to measure how things are working, what things are not working, what we need to work on more. And just some highlights so far. We are on track right now this year to spend 40% of our budget on others, which is putting us in good position to get to that, spending more on others than we do on ourselves. We are also doing really, really well with our community service hours, and we may even exceed our goal, which would be fantastic. We'll adjust. We'll raise that goal, no problem. We have some areas that need work. We only have 2 in ordained ministry right now. We did have a global pandemic come through, but we're not going to adjust our goals because of that. We think that God has plans and that we need to just kind of keep up with them. So we're hopeful that we can continue to put some resources into children's ministries and youth ministries and try to really encourage some people to get into ordained ministry as well. So overall, you know, we're doing well. We have some off-site venues starting up. Our biggest one, of course, is the Gathering Place, which we're so happy with. But overall, doing pretty well. We're kind of on track here. Some areas that need some work, and we'll be working on those. And then, next slide, please. The other thing the guide team has been up to, and this was along with staff, is that we did a book study and discussion over the past, probably it's been 6 or 7, maybe 8 months this year. And the book is called Pursuing God's Will Together. And the idea being that church leadership should be different than secular leadership. And that sounds intuitive, but it's not always, you know. So we have some really great minds and some talents on guide team. And we are, you know, dedicated to the church, but just being very active in making sure that we're keeping God's will present there. And so this book helped to give us some vocabulary and some focus and some concrete steps that we can take just to make sure that, number one, we are trying to focus on God's will and that we are using our time and talents in that manner. So we're really excited. We think that it's going to lead to some great things. We have a lot of big projects in the pipeline. We're just really, you know, anticipating some great stuff, see what God can do with us. That's it. Here comes Scott.
we have 2 videos. I'm told we have 2 videos.
Good morning, First United. My report will be brief, but contains what I hope you will find to be good news, if not exciting news. As you probably know, First United has been involved in a long search process. Good morning, First United. My report will be brief, but contains what I hope you will find to be good news, if not exciting news. As you probably know, First United has been involved in a long search process in an effort to find the right staff person to assist Pastor Amy at the Gathering Place. She has been blessed with exceptional volunteers and has been performing many tasks herself, which diverts her attention away from her primary focus while we've been involved in this search. I am pleased and excited to tell you that Macon Armistead has accepted the position of worship leader and ministry coordinator at the Gathering Place and has already begun work. Let me give you some of the reasons why the SPRC and guide team thought that Macon would be an extraordinary selection for the job. First, he is Pastor Amy's husband, so they are already a formidable team. Second, he graduated from the Divinity School of Duke University in 2017. By my count, Macon makes the 4th graduate from Duke serving on staff at First United. That is very impressive, especially when you are made aware of the results from my internet search. Was reasonably thorough, but it makes it factual and has a great context to it. Duke Divinity Ministry School is ranked number 1 among divinity schools. Guess who ranks numbers 4, 6, and 12? Well, if you're thinking Florida State, Florida, Georgia, Ohio State, well, you're thinking about the wrong schools. Numbers 4, 6, and 12 are Notre Dame, Yale, and Harvard. How about that? Getting back to Macon, thirdly, he is a provisional elder in the Florida Conference of the United Methodist Church. Fourth, he is a certified spiritual director. His education and experience make Macon well qualified, plus he is musically talented, is energetic, and will be well received by the communities we serve. God answered our prayers and placed Macon on our doorstep. We invited him in, and he agreed to serve at the Gathering Place. I ask that you welcome him and support him with your prayers and your kindness. Thank you.
Good morning, First United family. My name is Amy Armistead. I'm the pastor of the Gathering Place, a new community out of First United Methodist Ormond Beach that meets in the LPGA area and online. And welcome to my office in the Foundry. I wish I could be with you in person, but the Gathering Place worships Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. So we have had a really encouraging summer. Marshall Snyder, our SPRC chair, has already filled you in on our new worship leader and ministry coordinator. And in the spring, we submitted a proposal to the Florida Annual Conference of the United Methodist Church for a $150,000 grant. In May, we were awarded that grant, which will be distributed through July 2025, part of which helps us with operational costs and the pay for the salary of our new staff person. Our goal over the next 2 years is to be able to sustain $150,000 of our budget and to engage with at least 100 people through the Gathering Place. And I am confident that through God's grace and the hard work of our amazing leaders, we can do it. Starting September 3rd, we are now able to offer kids ministry every single week. And very soon, we will also be able to offer a nursery for children 3 and under. The amount of kids and students in our community has been growing, and through the dedication of both the Gathering Place and First United volunteers, we are going to keep this vital ministry going. If you can donate one Sunday a quarter to help with our children's ministry at the Gathering Place, please contact Caitlin Bookwalter at cbookwalter@firstunited.org. Remember, we are still a toddler, and we need the support of the Mama Church to make sure we're a success. And come and see for yourself. If you haven't already visited the gathering place, what are you doing? Take out your calendars right now. That's right, get out your phones. I see you going through your purse. Get it out of your pockets and find a Sunday to join us for worship at 10 a.m. at the Foundry, located on 728 Fentress Boulevard. We promise you're not cheating on First United. Why? Because we are part of the First United family. This summer has been an excited season of growth. Attendance and giving have been up, and with our new and improved worship, we look forward to a strong fall. But don't believe my words, come see for yourself. We'll pull up a chair if there's room. I'm excited to share with you that the Gathering Place is celebrating its 2-year anniversary of in-person worship on September 24th. We have a full band, a food truck, free t-shirts, look at these, and a message which is preached by our district superintendent, Dion Hammond. On the 24th, we'll also be welcoming new members into the First United family through the Gathering Place. There's so much to celebrate, and I'm thankful for a God who has given us a spirit of resilience during the tough church planting days, and boy, were they hard, and for First United, who have supported us through your prayers, presence, service, gifts, and witness. So come see for yourself what we're all about. We'd be welcome to pull up a chair. Bye.
Good morning, First United. My report.
Miss Amy could be a little more positive and upbeat. If we can get that from her. All right, so you've seen the reports. The only thing I do need to make a correction to, Marshall said that Macon was a provisional elder in the Florida Conference. He is not. He is a provisional deacon in the Florida Conference. There's a distinction of that. It's Methodist wordings, but I'm an ordained elder. Amy's an ordained elder. It means we're in charge of it. Prayer. We administer word, sacrament, order, and compassion is what we are ordained in. Deacons are compassion, justice, service, and word. So it means a deacon cannot be in charge of a church. Local elders are in charge. They're more of a specialized area ministry. That's kind of the main difference with deacons. So, all right, thoughts, comments, questions, things you need to know, stuff. Y'all get ready because I don't know. Yeah. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. every Sunday at Fentress kind of thing. 728 Fentress at the Foundry. And as she's saying, last week they had 50 in person, and it was a little tight in there. They're kind of having to start to, what's the next step for them on that? Her goal was when they are consistently over 50 every week, then they'll have to make an adjustment to that. But they're one of the things I do want to say, and some of you have already heard this, and some of you are going to hear it again when you go to our meetings. They really are reaching the group we wanted them to reach. It is younger, socioeconomic status different, race different than we are. It's an eclectic group that meets. They're doing a great job, kind of that mentality of what we wanted for that church. So I'm super thrilled with that. And I do think we probably need to hire somebody who goes to another school besides do cool work on that. Anything else? All righty. Thank you all very much. Peace, love, and air grease.